Hi everyone, I'm Rohn Strong. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're crocheting up this gorgeous Lemondrop Chebron Afghan. This is my new current obsession. I've been having so much fun stitching this up. It's so easy. It's just a 2-row repeat, which I'm going to show you how to do today. If you want the full free pattern, you can always head to my blog and find row by row directions along with some really beautiful photography. I love this Afghan. I love the color. We're going to be using Lion brand Basic Stitch yarn. This is the anti-pilling version. So there's two versions of Basic Stitch. There's the Basic Stitch Premium and Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling. Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling is my favorite. It's my go-to yarn to use with everything. All my baby projects are Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling. It's so beautiful. And it's anti-pilling, which means that you can wash this and you can use this and it's never going to look bad. It's always going to look beautiful. Now, every ball has 185 yards. It's 3.5 ounces. It's 100% acrylic. It's a number 4 medium weight, which means it's a worsted weight yarn. And the recommended hook size is an 8 or 5 millimeter. We're going to be using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook today. I like to use these Susan Bates aluminum hooks. They're super lightweight. I'll link them in the description down below. I'll also link our Lion brand Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling in the 2 different colors. We're going to be using Lemonade and White, I believe are the names. Yep. White is white. Lemonade is this beautiful soft yellow. This screamed summer to me. It screamed new baby. Not that I'm having a baby, but I just love this yarn, you guys. And you need a tapestry needle to weave in those ends, which I'm also going to show you how to do. So grab your yarn, grab your hook, head to the blog, grab the pattern, and I'm going to show you how to work our pattern stitch. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that little bell notification so you'll always know when I publish new tutorials. We got a lot of new fun tutorials coming your way. Make sure you like this video and make sure you share it with your friends. I mean, we all love crochet, and this is a great way to crochet the stress away, right? So the Lemondrop Chebron Afghan is a 2-row repeat. That means that we're just going to repeat those 2 rows over and over and over again. Now, I did make it a little bit more interesting by adding in this stripe of white. I just thought that was pretty, but you don't have to. You can just make it all yellow or whatever color you want. This pattern features 2 kind of new sort of complicated stitches that I want to show you how to do, and then just single crochets, which are pretty easy to do, right? So let's work our pattern stitch. We're going to chain 3. We're going to skip the single crochet that's at the base of that chain 3, and into the next single crochet, we're going to work a double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over our hook, insert our hook into the next single crochet and pull up a loop, and we'll have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over our hook again, insert our hook into the next single crochet and pull up a loop. We'll have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, we'll have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on our hook, and that's a double crochet 2 together. So again, we yarn over and insert it into the next stitch and yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over our hook, insert our hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 3. So you should have 2 double crochet 2 togethers, that 1 single double crochet, and our chain 3 space. Into the next 5 single crochets, we're going to work our cluster stitches. It's similar to a popcorn stitch and kind of like a bean stitch, but it's somewhere in between the middle. So to work that, we yarn over our hook and insert it into the next single crochet. We yarn over and pull up a loop. We want to make sure that loop is kind of long, about 1 inch would be good, and we'll have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over again, insert it into the same stitch, and yarn over, pull up a loop. We should have 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 4, then you'll have 2 loops left, and yarn over, pull through 2, okay? Chain 1. Yarn over our hook, insert our hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over our hook and insert it into the same stitch and pull up a loop. You should have 5 loops on your hook, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. Yarn over our hook, insert it into the next stitch. Oops. So after you've worked your last double crochet 2 together, you're going to chain 1, and into the next 5 of our single crochets, the next 5 single crochets, we're going to work a cluster stitch. It's kind of in between a bean stitch and a puff stitch. So we yarn over our hook and insert it into the next stitch and pull up a loop. You want to make sure that your hook is parallel to your work, and that loop is pretty long. You want it about 1 inch. Yarn over your hook again and insert it into that same stitch, and yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 4 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's 1 completed stitch. Chain 1, and into the next single crochet, again we'll yarn over and insert our hook and pull up a loop. Yarn over our hook again and insert it into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Then yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. Yarn over our hook and insert it into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over our hook, insert it into the same stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 4, pull through 2. All right, so we have 3. Let's do that 2 more times. I'm going to go a little fast here. There's 4. And there's 5. So we should have 5 of our cluster stitches. After your 5th, make sure you still chain 1. And now we're going to work 6 double crochet 2 together. So we yarn over our hook and insert it into the next stitch, pull up a loop and pull through 2, yarn over, insert it into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches. Work another double crochet 2 together. And now do that until you have a total of 6 double crochet 2 togethers. So there's 4, 5, 6. So I always like to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Now I'm going to chain 1 and work my 5 cluster stitches. So we'll go ahead and work those. I'm going to move a little bit fast for you here since I already showed you how to work those. Having a hook, I like to use Susan Bates hooks. Those are my preferred hooks. When working these kind of cluster stitches really helps. Having that kind of sharp hook head, I really like it. Now that I have my 5, I'm going to go ahead and work my 6 double crochet 2 togethers. And that's kind of your repeat. You work that all the way across. Now when you get to your last, you've worked your last 5 cluster stitches, you will just simply work 3 double crochet 2 togethers. And that's it. Now this pattern is, as you see, pretty easy to do, but it's also pretty easy to get off track. So I want to talk about some tips to make sure that you can finish this with ease. Number 1, my first kind of big important tip is that all of your cluster stitches should all line up here. And the big kind of doozy that should line up is your 3rd of the 5 cluster stitches. So if you look here, you'll notice that the middle cluster stitch, our 3rd one, they all line up, right? They're all directly on top of one another. That's important, and you will be able to tell if you're just off center a little bit. So make sure that those line up. If you get here and you're working that 3rd one and you're noticing that it's not directly on top of the previous rows, then you probably missed a stitch on your next row, which is your single crochet all the way across, or you forgot to do a double crochet 2 together. I do that sometimes as I'm working. I'll just think I have 6 when really I only have 5 or something like that. So double check your double crochet 2 togethers. Make sure you have 6. Make sure you only have 5 of your cluster stitches, and then make sure that that 3rd cluster stitch in each of these sets of 5 line up with one another all the way down. Now, The other tip is on your next row. So after you've completed your right side row, your wrong side row, which is the next row after what I just showed you, is just single crochets. You just single crochet all the way across. But it's important that when you're single crocheting across, that you're putting your single crochets into the correct stitches. So you're going to single crochet in each of those double crochet 2 togethers. You'll single crochet in the chain spaces and in the cluster stitches, all right? So you'll make sure that as you're single crocheting, you're working into those chain spaces and into those cluster stitches, okay? And I would say try to count your stitches after every row. I know it's a lot of stitches, but it's always easier to count your stitches after the rows or every few rows than to finish a project and realize that you were off and there's no way to fix it. Because with crochet, you can't just drop down and fix it. You got to rip all the way back out if you can't stand there being a little bit of an error there. So those are my tips on how to work this. It's really easy, as you saw. It's just those cluster stitches, double crochet 2 togethers, and single crochets. So before I go, I want to talk about weaving in ends. I get this question a lot, especially on baby blankets and other Afghans that are going to be used a lot. How do you weave in ends? Do you need a border? On this particular Afghan, I don't think you need a border. You can work a border. I like the raw edge. I think it's neat enough that I wouldn't be bothered. On some other Afghans, if it's not neat and it's a little bit too wavy, I don't like it. But you are gonna have to weave in ends. And the easiest way to weave in ends is to leave yourself about, I would say, 8 to 12 inches of your yarn. And just go ahead and thread your tapestry needle. And then you always wanna weave in, I like to weave in on the wrong side. And I'm going to weave this white into the yellow just to kind of show you what I would do. But I would essentially go through the bottom of each of the next few inches. So I would probably go through all those double crochets. I would go through the puff stitches. And I just want to weave in kind of all along those. Then I would reverse direction. And I would go through the row below, the one that I just did, weaving in along there. Then I would go back again, working all the way across, going through the stitches that I already wove it in through. And then that kind of just buries it. And you can see that as you tug and pull on it, it's not gonna come out. Now, if you're really worried, I would snip this end, obviously, to just kind of make it flush with everything. If you're really worried about these ends coming out, you can always apply a little bit of fray check. You can apply a little bit of fabric glue, like especially right here where this puff stitch is. Permanent fabric glue that's non-toxic, such as Eileen's flexible fabric glue would be perfect. All right? Well, that's it, friends. That is how you crochet the Lemondrop Chebron Afghan. I had so much fun working with this. I really love working with that Lion brand basic stitch anti-pilling yarn. So if you haven't tried that, I definitely would recommend trying that. This is a lot of fun. So you can find the full directions for this free pattern on my blog at rohnstrong.com. I'll put the link down below. While you're there, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you know when new videos are coming out. Until next time, friends, we'll see you later, and happy stitching. Bye, y'all.